Good morning. Good morning. Oh, look at that. I'm getting myself a little tied up here in the space that I'm in. Good morning. Good morning. Let's go live on Instagram. Let's do it. It is Thursday, April 27th. Thursday, April 27th. Look at us here for the morning dew for certified doers. Let's get up. Let's get at it. I'm Delegate. I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer first. We already established that. That's you and that's me. Certified doer, Mama, Navy vet, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th District. Wow. Can you hear it in my voice? What a day we had yesterday. I definitely want to make sure that I give you guys a rundown of a life. But let me first start by saying, let's get it. So, as always, let me give you an update on what we have coming up for the office. Tell you a little bit about my visit to the White House and yesterday, and to the Capitol for some things with veterans, and then I'll tell you about my train ride too. Hello, infrastructure in the Commonwealth. That's a whole thing. Um, and then I definitely want to do the so what now what with the visit from the White House, among the other things that we have going on. First and foremost, this Saturday, if you haven't seen it on our socials across the board, we are having our trees arrived a couple weeks ago. We're going to go ahead and plant them babies into small self-contained. We can't put them in the ground because if we put them in the ground is too hot. It's going to get too hot over the summer. It has a high likelihood of actually killing them. So this weekend, if you haven't RSVP'd or you're interested in from 8 to 10, we're going to get those little seedlings in their little homes until the end of the year. So really excited about that. Hope you all can join us. That's this Saturday, the 29th. Second, May 6th, which is next Saturday, we will be having our last redistricting town hall, and it's going to be virtual. You can sign up for it's on our. I believe we have it already as a Facebook event. You have the opportunity to sign up there, but would really love to see you come out and just learn a little bit more about redistricting, what it means to Norfolk. Even if you don't live in Norfolk, there's some really great information. I'll teach you how to use the same tools that I use to stay abreast of what's happening financially, what's happening just across the board. There's some really great resources. And shout out to the folks that came out to Predlow this Thursday. Very robust conversation. And was so elated to see a younger person there. So Jade, you the real MVP. Jade, you're a real MVP, and also trying to get her generation civically engaged. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Vince. Good morning, Miss Charlene. Good morning. Good morning, Sahir. If that's you there with us on Instagram. All right, let's pretty much get into it. As you see scrolling across the screen, I have to make this plug, y'all. Sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. You don't got to be in district to do it. You'll be able to stay abreast with all the things that we're doing. Go straight to the website, or if you're on Instagram, go to the bio, go to the link in the bio, and it'll take you straight to the link tree, which will allow you to sign up for the newsletter. Just good information. We're trying to grow that so we can massively disseminate information, because here's what we're finding. The more we educate people, the more people educate people. And that's the goal, is to get smart so we get dangerous. Sound good? Does it sound good? I mean, it sounds actually fantastic. It sounds freaking fantastic to me. And then we need support. So if no money, no mission, if you find it in your space to say, like, I love this, right? Like, I love what you're doing. I want to see you do more. I want you to build capacity. Then there is a link to donate also on our website. So delegatejackieglass.com. I tell you, there are so many great things to come. We are going to be good stewards of the coins that we get. At least that's what we're not at least. We're going to be good stewards and transparency. We're building out our website to be more transparent with the things that we're doing as well. Let's go ahead and get into this White House visit. I don't know. I like I said, I think that last on Tuesday that I had the opportunity to attend it's a White House legislative convening on non-consensual intimate image abuse, and so this event was held by the Biden Harris administration to address online harassment and online abuse. The task force initially started with a blueprint, and I'm going to put that for those of you guys. I know Instagram, don't hate me, but y'all a little bit more technically savvy if you're on Instagram. I'm going to try to put this link in the bio if I can find it. I'll put it in there in a bit, but the task force blueprint for in non-consensual intimate image has four main efforts. This task force that we're part of, it's the prevention, it's the survivor support, the accountability, and the research around this specific topic. So what we were brought to the White House to do was to think about ways, not just legislatively, that we can create a safer online presence. Excuse me, I'm losing my thoughts here. While providing resources and support for victims of online harassment and hold the victims accountable. Because the thing is we don't want to just hone in on accountability. The reason why I was able to be a part of this is because I co-patroned House Bill 2398. What I learned from the task force is I was hesitant. I wasn't, not to say hesitant, but I was hesitant to sign on to this bill because of how strict the punishment was for the online sextortion, which we're seeing. Sextortion is the when folks get pictures of a person online and they say, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, pay me or whatever, that I'm going to release these photos. This is happening a whole bunch with young men. And I know y'all looking like, what? This is happening a whole bunch with young men. You can actually, the FBI, the way I interface with this was talking about getting a chance to sit down with some of the folks from the FBI and advocates in the Hampton Roads area to talk about human trafficking, which led them to tell us about sextortion, which for young men getting online, they think they're talking to a young lady and she's wooing them and she's saying, send me a picture of this, and then they do it. And then the next thing you know, they're being extorted. If you go, like I said, if you go to the FBI has a committed page for sextortion on their site that really sort of talks about what this is. But the House bill, but in the conversation, in talking about the House bill and how strong it was of like, hey, it's a classified felony and punishable from 1 to 20 years. The experts that interviewed folks who are actually doing these bad things. Good morning, Mr. Laurent. Good morning, Boats. The experts that interviewed folks, because they started really trying to get to the nitty gritty as to why people were choosing to extort people, to show video. I mean, to take their intimate pictures with their partner and use them as a means to spread them, to mass disseminate them. Most of the people they interviewed said the only thing that would have stopped them was jail time. So not a fine, not a misdemeanor, none of that. Like if they would have known they would have gone to jail for doing it, they wouldn't have done it. So it made me really rethink and affirm that like it was necessarily because it's having a very large effect on our littlest of citizens who don't right now of being living in such a digital society. They don't necessarily have the same ideology as we do about privacy, right? Because so much of theirs has been sort of walked back. They give so much. We're in a society where we give. So my children's perception of what privacy is very different from mine. But what I want to do is make sure that as we build this online environment, as we look at what people do, the knowledge, skills, the behaviors that they have, that we ensure that there's safety and well-being for all the individuals online. So across the board. We got to hear from survivors of this who, had issues where, the police told them, you don't want to do this to this guy. He's in part of Little League. And if you do this, then, he won't be able to coach Little League anymore. Or they didn't believe them, or they shared the photos amongst the department. So there is behaviors both on the law enforcement side and the Jew. Oh, is the feed freezing? Help me. If it is, let me know. Is the feed freezing? On Instagram. I mean, not on Instagram, but on let me know. I'm going to pause for a second. Just making sure that folks on Facebook and stuff, that it's not freezing for you. If it is, please give me someone give me because I'll switch internet. I'll go ahead and switch so that you don't freeze, so that I don't freeze. Can somebody give me a thumbs up that I'm good to go? I'm going to go ahead and change the internet so that we All right, so we're back at it. Hopefully this is better and that there's not an issue and that you can see. Sorry for you guys on Instagram. The internet has been not a friend of ours recently, so I'm just making sure we're good to go at this point. I hope that we're good. Yep, we're good now. Thank you so much, Clifton. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So what I was saying is that we have a responsibility to make sure that there's some well-being online, because our little citizens and our young citizens that are growing into adulthood have a different mindset of what privacy is from us. They don't see it isn't, we don't want to shame people for start the behaviors where one of my colleagues from Northern Virginia said, he's like, look, it's not about saying, don't share your pictures. It's just saying that that we have to be responsible, because we don't know where people will go. Another piece of this, y'all, that we had to consider, which sort of hits me in my soul and my gut as we talk about AI and the advancement of technology, is that we are coming to a place where all a person has to do is get your picture off of the internet somewhere and get it off of a profile, and they can put it and make a deep fake. What I mean by a deep fake is they can take and make a video or a picture that looks like it's you and your body for real, and it not be the case. We got to hear from the Democratic leader in Florida, Lauren Book, who actually went through this as a legislator. Someone, as she dropped off her kids at school, got a text message. The text message said that if you don't, pay me X, Y, and Z, I'm going to leak all these photos of you. And most of them, some of the photos were fake. They were actually fake photos created of her, right? And it was a long bout for her to get some semblance of justice. And that's the thing, is we're trying to determine what is justice in this online environment, because our laws are not written for the world that, specifically with this abuse, they're not written for the world that we live in. And I'd love for you guys to drop in the chat, just what are your thoughts on online image abuse? Have you had or known someone that has had an experience where a partner shared pictures as a means of revenge, or had a scare where you thought, whatever? Because as we move forward, it's going to take us hearing from pretty much victims where the system has failed them, because what we've seen here is that the justice system is not equipped right now to deal with these sorts of things, and that across the entire United States, our laws that we have to protect and our opportunities, our prevention methods, whether it's with the little citizens, our support for people, And the research that we have is growing and in a positive way. However, the accountability is substandard, right? There's a level of accountability that we don't have that's substandard, and then the prevention piece. And so there's this thing that we have to do, which is why we were at the White House, is really pull legislators together and get really real about what we are doing legislatively, but also the things that we're getting our respective state agencies and like the Department of Education to do to be good stewards to this. What I will say is they did not hold any punches with us. We had some legislators there that were just like, oh, we're doing this and it's super great. And then they were like, not good enough. Let me tell you how that's harmful. And I was like, wow, like so grateful to have them be real with us about what we were doing and what we're not doing and how we can take steps forward with being better digital stewards and stewards to people that are and holding people accountable that are doing bad things. So on Instagram, Coffee with the Muslim says, no experience, but deeply concerned because of how often our kids today share pics with friends and pretty much anyone in their social media. And I think that is what's going to help push us forward, that concern for our littlest citizens. That is why this issue is bipartisan, because we are talking about our littlest of citizens. Utah has done a lot of work with just like they have, what is it called? The ability of class action where you can sue I think in Utah, they have really stringent laws just on not just the person who shares the photos, but the folks that host having the photos there. And then in Washington State, they have a school district right now that is suing Facebook. So like parents, I think parents are also a part of this piece of moving the conversation forward. We have to shape the future of our digital landscape, like off top, like there's no if ands or butts about that. Is that as we do this, we have to both our digital landscape and our digital citizenry, right? How we behave. The work is going to be ongoing. We have to be future oriented, but the actions have to enable us not only to take care of victims, but to also to be better citizens. And that's the truth, is having our children understand, having a real conversation about what online privacy is, what photo privacy, like being delivering it in ways where we can again talk about online privacy, talk about deep fakes, and talk about the growing influence of artificial intelligence on all of this. So as we walk towards this, like this task force blueprint, and I want you guys, if you're have some experience with this, like if you want to be a part of this conversation, or folks, like we will this summer be pulling people in to make a more intelligent justice system to deal with these types of crimes, because they're having a hard time really figuring out how to prosecute or not. On the same token, with Coffee with the Muslim on Instagram, just said, is that there's also the piece of our young people. The only statute that they have, let's say a 15-year-old sends a nude pic to a 14-year-old, doesn't matter where it's girl, boy, or either side, parent find out, they go to the police. That child by law can only be charged, like with in some states, with child pornography at the age of 15. And so we have to think about their thought process and our justice system and what it does to them. And I can't remember what state it has that's building out some remediation or as online training as a means to say if this happens with a child, that we don't put them in a criminal justice system, that we do the education piece, which is what we got to do, what we should be doing across the board. The bill that I co-patron only applied to people 18 and up. That fine, that possible jail time, only for folks 18 and up. So there's that piece. So what now what? If you've got events and stuff, now's the time to start dropping them into the comments. Now's the time to start letting me know so I can put them out there for folks to get a better understanding of what it is that you're doing. So what now what? Again, Prevention is a piece. If you are interested in promoting digital safety curricular in school or courses for parents, educators, employers, come through, because what we've seen at the presidential, at the state, at the federal level, is that they want to provide digital equity grants, right, to start really taking this serious. If you're interested in survivor support, meaning, whatever the training and assistance that is needed for law enforcement and for prosecutors, for educators, for victim advocates, to support survivors of technology facilitated gender-based violence, okay? Because this was done under the director of gender, brain, under the director, I want to get her title right because she was amazing, the director of Gender Policy Council came and really kicked us off there for the president area, and just letting us know that this is a real focus for them. If you're interested in again, survivor support, if you're interested in accountability, because there are a lot of you guys who are really great at how do we hold people accountable for the things that they do. So whether it's strengthening coordination among federal, state, tribal, territory, and local law enforcement agencies to investigate and prosecute cyber crimes, again, we don't have the what do I want to call it? The criminal justice system infrastructure to really understand how and why and what is prosecutable for these crimes. Because for a minute there, these weren't, text messaging wasn't a thing, wasn't considered sending these messages over text messages didn't fit under the current law. So if somebody was texting your pictures to everyone, there wasn't nothing, because it didn't fit the bill. So we've got to look at all these things, accountability. And also in the accountability piece, it's not all the justice system. It's also providing resources to workplaces and schools to address online harassment and abuse. Lastly, the research piece. If you're a person that's into the numbers and you're like, look, I want to be a part of helping there be more funding or conducting research to inform, to make sure that we are doing evidence-based interventions, and understanding the impacts to, quite frankly, the exposure to online harassment and abuse, and to guide the actual prevention efforts, then this area of work is for you. I know how scary it is, right? I know how scary it is for us to have our little assistants online. I know how scary it is of just, will I get hacked, and will someone take, I worry about that, being a public figure, of someone taking my face and putting it on something, and then having to deal with that. The legislator out in Florida says, every now and again they pop up, these pictures pop up, and she's still paying her lawyer years later to just shut those pictures down when they come up. It's real. It's affecting people's everyday life. And we got to do better. And that's what this task force is for. Our goal was going to say that our goal here, right, is to now sort of take some steps forward, period. We've got the SHIELD Act, the Stop Harmful Image Exploitation and Limiting Distribution Act, which was reintroduced. Y'all, so if you want something if you want something to get behind at the federal level, because there is a lot, the federal law that is standing in the way of holding the people that host these images and don't take them down. That's something, the SHIELD Act, I'm going to say that again, SHIELD, Stop Harmful Image Exploitation and Limit Distribution Act. It's being reintroduced with bipartisan support. But what was highlighted is that there's going to need to be the federal civil actions that's going to have to happen. At the state level, there are some things that we can do within our codes, and really just giving people the opportunity, the space to do the right thing. And that's what we want. We want to give people space to do the right thing. Coffee with the Muslim says school level is on Instagram. So if you can't see this on the other platforms, on Instagram, it says school level is where I would like to help creating curriculum or training. I'm here for it. We are going to be doing our all call for folks that are interested in being supportive of this particular area. I definitely want to have not just parents, but folks who have experienced this to be a part of the next steps, because we want to guide this in a Commonwealth in a way that makes sense, but also is in line with what we've seen does and does not work in other states. So Illinois is doing some phenomenal things. Washington's doing things. Mississippi even has some things. But the thing about the things that we're doing is they need to be better. That's what we got from the task force. Lastly, so there's that, right? That's the White House visit. It was amazing, pictures and more to follow. On the other side of that, that's the business side of it. The other side of things is yesterday I got to go to the Capitol to hear vote vets along with former Speaker Pelosi and other leaders in the Democratic Party talk about this push to take lots of money away from VA services. More to follow on that. I want to give that the time that it's due. Right now, we are in a place where the GOP the GOP is deciding that if we want to get this budget done, that we have to take away millions of dollars from the VA, from veteran house support, like to combat homelessness. They're telling folks you need to choose. Do you want a budget or do you want to help veterans? And like it's not wild to me. It's just, as I've stepped into this role as a legislator, I've recognized that a lot of things that people want to do for veterans are very much so platitudes. They're what I like to call vanity actions. And being able to be in the room now and call out and make folks actually do the things, and we're still working on them in the Commonwealth because we have a lot of vanity stuff that we are doing for veterans that's not actually doing a thing, excuse me, because I get a little passionate, that's not actually doing anything, right? Like, okay, you paying for a service member's wife to get buried, if they're like, I can tell you right now that the top 3 issues facing people right here that are not veterans are the same stuff that veterans are facing. And it's a goddamn shame. Childcare, housing, employment. Like, it's a problem. So like, I want to spend probably Monday talking about that and how you can get active, but I may do a little short today because I definitely want to get that off my chest too. I'm still looking for events that are happening. And I think, Yolanda, you said my family member had the EBT card hacked and fund used, and there wasn't any resolution. Yeah, that's real. That's real. And so this same thing is happening with photos. Mr. Lamont, did you want to talk about the Dawa project meeting? Did you want to give me the time on May 6th, the time? Just because I don't have it in front of me. So I want to just make sure that I'm able to give you give the folks the information. But while we wrap up, it is 7:00. Remember, I said I'm only gonna take 30 minutes of your day. Scrolling across the screen, if you're on all the other LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, is all the information about staying connected. I encourage you all to, again, subscribe to our newsletter. There is much more to come about the task force. I will definitely make sure that as the time comes, I need y'all to keep that in the front and in the front and in the back of your heads about our little citizens and digital stewardship. We got work to do. That's what, if I learned one thing, is we got a heck of a lot of work to do. So, and I hope I'm saying this correctly. This is the community event. Mr. Lamont is shared that the Dawa project meeting will be at 1 p.m. at 1430 5th Street on May 6th. That's not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Next Saturday is also our last redistricting town hall. want to see you there, as well as this Saturday, which there's going to be something in the water for all you guys going out there. Good luck. I believe I have a panel on Sunday for something in the water, talking about, leadership and things like that, and growth in civic education, specifically for creatives. That is happening on Sunday. But if you go out there, if you are one of the people who have testable tickets and you're doing that, I want you to be safe, be aware. Foresight and planning is everything. And I just hope that the one thing you take away is a good time and nothing else. I saw the Virginia Beach Sheriff's Department are starting to put on body cameras, and that was a story. That was a thing that we're going to show them. And I hope you're a part of that. We're going to show them that we know how to act. We're going to be out there, and we just out there to have a good time. There shouldn't be no issues. Until Tuesday, again, I may put something out there prior to that, but until Tuesday, stay open, stay curious. And I look forward to connecting with you all Tuesday at 6:30. And we will talk a little bit more about the veterans bills and the things we have coming up in the community. Until then, you know what to do. Certified Doers. This has been the Morning Dew for Certified Doers. I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th District. So proud to serve. Catch you guys on the flip side. Be well. Thanks for the conversation today. Be well. Oh, thank you, Dr. Chioma. Thank you for your service. Listen, we're all trying to provide a service to the community. See you all. Be well. Take care.